as the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs wind down, the NHL's calendar will soon flip over to the 2024-25 season as of July 1st. So in the next few weeks, we could see some big changes around the league between trades, buyouts, and the beginning of free agency. So as we get ready for this busy period, let's take a look at how things look at present for the Calgary Flames. We'll be focusing on the players that are currently under NHL contract with the team or that are pending restricted free agents for the coming season as of mid-June. Broadly speaking, I think you'll see the Flames have a lot of flexibility right now. The salary cap for the upcoming season is set at $88 million, and teams must carry between 20 and 23 players on their roster. They tend to carry between 21 or 22 to save a little bit of cap space. Right now, the Flames have $67.1 million committed to next season to 18 players, which leaves them with about $21 million in available cap space, technically 20.9, to fill 3 or 4 roster spots depending if they want to carry 22 or 23 players. Let's dive in. We'll go position by position, so let's start with the goaltenders. Now, the Flames tend to carry 2 goaltenders, pretty much every team does. Last season, they used $8.48 million of cap space on their goaltending position. They carried 3 goaltenders throughout the year, usually some combination of Jacob Markstrom, Dan Vladar, and Dustin Wolf, with 2 of them being healthy at a time. So far right now, it looks like the Flames have about $8.2 million committed to their 2 goaltenders. Right now, the 2 NHL level goaltenders look to be Jacob Markstrom and Dan Vladar. And at the minor league level, they have Dustin Wolf and Valtteri Ignatiu under contract. Now, Dustin Wolf is a contender to move up, and Jacob Markstrom has been mired in trade rumors basically dating back to the beginning of 2024. Since the calendar flipped over, it's been a nonstop subject of conversation. As of this recording, Markstrom is on the NHL roster, and so is Vladar. Things might change, and since Wolf is on his last year of waiver exemption, we're penciling him right now as an extra, but of all the positions the Flames have, this is the one that could change the most significantly. So we'll see how foolish and out of date this video looks like in the coming weeks and months. Up next, the blue line group, the defensemen. The Flames tend to carry 7 defensemen, 6 regular players, and an extra. Last season, they spent $25.23 million of cap space on their defensemen. So far, with the guys they have under contract, currently 5 at the NHL level, they have $13.61 million in cap commitments. So they've got a lot of cap space. You can attribute that to a lot of the departures that happened last season. Nikita Zadorov, Noah Hanifin, and the big one, Chris Tanev, all gone in midseason trades. And so the blue line looks a lot different, and it is a lot less expensive than the one they started with a year ago. 5 guys under contract currently are Mackenzie Weegar, Danil Miramanov, Rasmus Anderson, Joel Hanley, and Braden Pahal. And at the minor league level under contract are Ilya Solovyov, Yan Kuznetsov, Jeremy Poirier, Artem Grushnikov, Hunter Brustevich, and Yoni Yermo. Obviously, the Flames will need to add to this group. This is a group where I could see them going and doing something in free agency or via trade. They could use a shutdown defender to sort of anchor that group a bit. They have a lot of offensive-minded guys, but having someone with a little bit more of a defensive skew to their game could really help balance out this group. And finally, let's move on to the forwards. The Calgary Flames tend to carry 13 forwards, the 12 regulars, and usually 1 extra. Depending on the cap situation, they might carry 14 and have 2 extras. Last season, they spent $49.03 million on the forward group. So far, they have $45.29 million committed to the 11 players they have at the NHL level under contract. Obviously, a little bit down from last year, but things could change. The 11 guys they have under contract right now are Jonathan Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri, Andrew Mangiapane, Andrei Kuzmenko, Blake Coleman, Michael Backlund, Yegor Sharangovich, Kevin Rooney, Martin Pospisil, Connor Zary, and Walker Duehr. The guys on the minor league level, at least right now, are Dryden Hunt, Matt Coronado, Cole Schwint, Adam Klapka, Jacob Pelche, William Stromgren, Sam Morton, Samuel Hanzik, Parker Bell, Rory Cairns, Lucas Siona, Clark Bishop, Riley Damiani, and Ilya Solovyov. Now, Right now, probably the most likely guy to fill in that fourth line role, the one that seems to be open on a regular basis, is Dryden Hunt. He did that role for a good chunk of the year last season. I would not say that's set in stone, and especially, the Flames have a trio of wingers who are on expiring contracts at the end of the 24-25 season in Mangiapane, Kuzmenko, and Sharangovich. Some of them could be traded earlier or later. Some of them could be re-signed earlier or later. So the forward position could be in a lot of flux during the season, but right now that's how it looks. It's a good situation, I think, for some of the younger players. Last year we saw Zari and Pospisil really push into the NHL roster and basically define themselves as everyday NHLers. Pospisil in particular kind of came out of nowhere. He was not even on Flames Nation's top 20 prospects ranking. He was the highest ranked guy that didn't make the top 20, and he made a lot of folks look foolish, and that's kind of the way it goes. He really did a lot to raise his stock, and I think a lot of players in the system will be looking at what Zari and Pospisil in particular, did last season and go, why not me? If we're going to be looking at a handful of guys that could make a push, you're looking at Matt Coronado, you're looking at Adam Klapka, Jacob Pelche. Don't sleep on William Stromgren. I think William Stromgren could really do a lot to push himself into that conversation, especially considering he was really, really strong at the end of last season. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, you can see the Calgary Flames, they don't have a ton of guys that look to be tippity top players. They seem to be in year one of the retool, betting on depth. But that said, they're heading into an offseason where they have almost $21 million of cap space to work with. They have the ability to take on bad contracts. They have the ability to potentially overpay guys to get them in for a couple of years to help keep the team afloat during the retool. So they have a lot of opportunities that they could do a lot of interesting things. So we'll see what happens. The 2024 NHL Draft is June 28th and 29th in Vegas at the Sphere. And historically, the Calgary Flames have made most of their big moves at the draft. And it wouldn't shock me if we see some big moves during or immediately before the draft. Case in point, last year, day before the NHL draft at Nashville, Tyler Toffoli was traded by Craig Conroy. So I think the past is the best indicator of the future, and based on the past, especially the past with this general manager, I think we can expect things to start happening as the draft approaches.